For centuries, we've all dreamed of a fountain of youth. But what if the secret to rejuvenation isn't out there in some mythical spring, but is actually flowing through our veins right now? Today, we're going to dive into some seriously cutting-edge science that's completely changing how we think about aging.
It sounds like something straight out of science fiction, right? Or maybe even a vampire story. But it's the real question driving some of the most fascinating biological experiments happening today. Can a young body really turn back the clock in an older one? So to get to the bottom of that question, scientists actually revived a century-old and frankly pretty unusual technique. And what they found was, well, it was startling. Okay, so this technique is called parabiosis. It's where researchers surgically connect the circulatory systems of two mice, one old and one young. This allows them to literally share blood, and more importantly, all the powerful stuff in that blood, like proteins and hormones. And the results? Well, for the brain, they were absolutely mind-blowing. The old mice who got a dose of that young blood showed incredible signs of rejuvenation. Their brain inflammation went down, their memory got better. It was the first really clear proof that factors from a young body could literally make an old brain work better. You can imagine, an experiment like this just completely upended how scientists thought about blood's role in our bodies. You see, for the longest time, we kind of viewed blood as just a passive readout, a simple window into our health. But now we're realizing it's so much more than that. Our blood is an active medicine, a delivery system for powerful molecules that are directly telling our organs how to behave. And this really gets to the heart of this new way of thinking. As Dr. Weisskopf, a real pioneer in this field, puts it, there are things in our blood that are actively changing how our body functions. So the huge question for scientists now is, which things matter the most?
So a good way to think about it is that our blood is this natural cocktail. When we're young, it's packed with all these great regenerative proteins. But as we get older, those helpful factors start to disappear, while at the same time, these harmful pro-inflammatory factors start to build up. It's this kind of double whammy that really speeds up aging.
Okay, but the story gets even more interesting from here. As it turns out, aging doesn't just happen at one steady, predictable pace. When researchers looked at the blood of thousands and thousands of people, they expected to see this slow, steady decline. But that's not what they found at all. Instead, they found these distinct waves of aging. The first big shift in our blood's protein makeup hits around age 35. Then there's another major wave around 60, and a final one kicks in near 80. And here's another wild part. Just like your body doesn't age smoothly, your individual organs don't all age at the same speed either. It's totally possible for your heart to be biologically older than your liver, or for your brain to be aging faster than the rest of you. So you might be thinking, okay, if my organs are all on their own timeline, how in the world can we even measure that? Well, this is where some seriously cool new tech comes into play. And this isn't science fiction anymore. Get this. In a single drop of your blood, modern tech can now measure up to 11,000 different proteins. That's just an unbelievable amount of information. So what do scientists do with all that data? Well, they can figure out which proteins belong to which organs, and from there, they can actually estimate the biological age of your heart or your brain. And when they compare that to your actual age, the number of candles on your birthday cake, that difference, that's what they call the age gap. So why should you care about this age gap? Because it turns out it's a really powerful crystal ball for your future health. For example, say you're 50 years old, but your heart's proteins make it look more like it's 58. Well, that means your risk for heart disease is significantly higher. But hey, maybe your liver is acting like it's 47. That's great news for your liver. The takeaway here is super simple, but it's also super important. The bigger that age gap is for any one organ, basically the faster it's aging compared to you, the higher your risk of developing a disease related to that specific organ. Now, I know this might all sound a little daunting, but here comes the most incredible part of this whole story. What it tells us about what we can actually do. We can learn to harness our own biology. Let's just take exercise. We all know it's good for us, right? But now we know why on this insane molecular level. Intense exercise triggers your liver to release this amazing cocktail of proteins into your blood, and those proteins travel straight up to the brain, improving its health and how well it works. And if you need proof of how powerful this is, listen to this. Scientists took blood from mice that had been exercising and injected it into mice that were just sitting around. And guess what? The sedentary mice got the brain benefits of a workout without ever taking a single step. The rejuvenating effects were literally transmitted through the blood alone. I mean, that's wild.
And all of this leaves us with a really profound final thought. This new science suggests the fountain of youth isn't something external that we need to find. What if it's a pharmacy that already exists inside every single one of us, and we just need to learn how to activate it?